I'm here with Gary Rhodes, who's just given an amazing talk on a challenge facing not just the Middle East, but my own country and plenty of other countries as well, which is how do we get our kids really respecting food and everything that goes with it and leading a healthier life? Can you, if you were to sum it up in a tweet, what is your kind of mission here? What are you hoping to achieve?
That's a very good question. I mean, we know, of course, that there seems to be a lot of obesity in very young children, certainly across Europe and in the United States and many other parts of the world. So obviously, having the opportunity to get involved with children, many times, back in the UK, I was giving cookery demonstrations, cookery classes to many, many schools. And I think the buzz that I got from that was the response from the children. When you're cooking certain dishes for them, it was trying to add a new kind of part to the curriculum of their education. Making sure that those weekly lessons, it wasn't just once a month that was a bit of fun for 20 minutes. It was a full class. It was something that they really looked forward to. And that excited me. And it was about making sure within that cookery class, we're making them realize about balance of ingredients, strength of ingredients. If it is going to be making a simple little quiche, it would only be that little dot of cream just to enrich the flavor of the milk and the egg. But then we would look at the calories involved with that particular dish. We make sure they're actually learning that and realizing and recognizing why they have to eat with balance and amongst those textures.
So what I'm fascinated by this is on a personal level, but then most of the teachers I work with complain that their curriculum, whether they're in an international private school or a state school, they say there's just too much stuff. And not just that, there's a hierarchy of subjects where, frankly, as a French and German, my subjects, and food are kind of low in the pecking order compared to science, maths, English, the usual suspects. How do you encourage school leaders in this competitive environment to place food at the centre of things?
I think you're absolutely right. From my old schooling days, we certainly didn't have to actually get through, 10 different subjects in a year. You had 5 or 6 you'd actually get through. Now I think it's so tough, it's so stressful for young children. I think that you're absolutely right with that the cooking side, the eating side is very low on the priority list, as a class. For me, it is one of the most important. It doesn't really matter how many sort of great A levels and then off to university and a degree and this, that and everything else is wonderful, fantastic and a great huge pat on the back. At the same time, if you have no social skills, it doesn't matter how intelligent you are. If you don't have simple, good social skills within you, you can't communicate to the general public properly. They're going to take you really nowhere.
Something in your talk that struck me is, it hadn't struck me in that way before, but actually I recognise it in my own daughters when I take them to a restaurant. I often get complimented on how well behaved they are and the fact that they sit and they eat and they enjoy their food, but I've taken that for granted. Is food perhaps the new lesson in collaboration and creativity rather than the usual art and design technology in these classes? Is there a role for that maybe in the future?
Here. I think it is, as I said, it's about first impressions. First impressions, we know they will last. They'll last for all of your life. And I think the great thing about table manners, that is really simple, then good manners that will spread onto every part of life. With that respect for the food you're eating, respect for the others around you, and instead of sitting there tapping away on your iPad or iPod, what you have got to then is conversation. It's how to socialize. For me, it is one of the most important lessons in life, and probably the most important for my life. I'm happy to speak with anybody. I know how to conduct myself at the table. I know how to communicate with other people, and for me, that was the greatest lesson. The greatest lesson and greatest A-level that I ever passed.
And so you've been in the Middle East for some time now, both initially as a visitor. You've lived here for some time. What has the UAE and Dubai, what has the region kind of taught you? Because we think of chefs, frankly, we think of hellfire and brimstone in the kitchen. That's not the way the Middle East strikes me.
No, certainly not. The great thing about the UAE, it is really quite a young country. And that's the beauty of the UAE. Because it's young, they're actually capturing things from this very young age in young children. when you look at the education system here, and I go to so many schools, I love what they've created for them. All the, not just the great facilities and the wonderful flashy classrooms and everything else that can go with it, that's all lovely. It makes comfort at school. And I think comfort then leads on to, you know, a better education for children. It's important for me. It's like being a good chef. I always say there's something about being a good chef or a great chef. If you want to be a great chef, it's about understanding detail. And that's detail in food and balance of flavors and strength of different seasonings. Well, all that happens in life. It's about understanding detail. And I think that's the great thing about this country. They have taken that on board. They're introducing all of that detail and that great seasoning of all of the schools that they're creating. Yeah. So you have a flavor there that you want to be part of, you want to sample, you want to enjoy. And I think that's one of the great things about education here. Also with that, you know, as we say with Talim, there's a great school that we're involved with, and the kitchen that they have to teach the children how to cook, that has become part of, it's divine. I'm very jealous, you know, I've cooked there already with some of the children, and it's been great fun, but, you know, it has all the facilities. It has all the facilities, and that's from such that great young age. And that's the beauty, I think, of the UAE. They've recognized, they've been taught from what they've seen probably in other countries. They've done their homework. And we all know that that is one of the most important things involved with schools. Do your homework and you'll go on to bigger and better things.
And I think from my travels in North America, Australasia, Europe, there's a lot of lessons we could maybe learn from seeing what's going on here in the Middle East.
Yeah.
One final question. You've come to effectively an education conference. What has this conference been like for you for the short period of time you've been able to be with us? What have you picked up from it? What interesting people have you met?
It's really quite incredible, just having a look around here and going to many of the different stands and seeing what they're offering to the young and to the old alike. That's the beauty of it, and that's what I've recognised here. It isn't just about all children's little blazers and and uniforms that they're trying to sell, or little Lego games, although some of those are really quite incredible, and I was really quite jealous. I wouldn't even be able to make one, so I've learned something there. I just think it's great because it's something for all, and let's be honest, education is for life. It's for life. You know, those early years are probably the most important, but nobody should feel that once they've left school, the education is over. You know, I still continue to learn today, certainly on the culinary side, but on the social side to go with it. And I think that's one of the beauties here, and coming to this kind of event, you can see from everybody looking around, they want to recognise, they want to see, they're nosy, but that is the greatest thing. Be nosy, have a look, see what else they can offer the young, and see what they can offer those who work with them. And I think that is something that this has got a great influence that it adds and holds, and I'm hoping that many take from it.
Gary Rhodes, thank you for everything you do for schools and for healthy eating, and thanks for joining us here at GESS 2016.
Thank you very much indeed. It's been a pleasure speaking with you.